Welcome back, Introvert fam, to another episode of the Stay Introverted podcast. I am your host, Jay Coleman.
And I am Steph and
Once again, we just thank you for joining us on this ride that we're that we're both on in this podcasting world. So, Steph, I don't know if you even kind of paying any attention to these trends going on social media, because there's always a trend going on social media. But apparently, for the last couple of weeks, there's been something called boy math.
All right, interesting. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I live under a rock when it comes to social media trends. Honestly, not even just social media trends. I live under a rock when it comes to trends in general. So I don't know if that's just how I've always been, if I'm just, I go against the grain, or if I'm just a little bit weird, but you're going to have to tell me what boy math is, just like you're probably always going to have to tell me about any trends.
Fair enough. So boy math actually started from girl math, and girl math, in my opinion, and if you have any lady introverts out there, just correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding of girl math was that it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek way that women use to, justify big ticket spending. It was always meant to just be sort of, funny things. But apparently the boys caught wind of it and decided to give their 2 cents.
Are we surprised?
We're not surprised, but we are kind of disappointed because we tend to forget how much ammo the girlies have on us. But yeah, yeah.
We're a little disappointed, but we're laughing though, right? Because we are entertained by it.
Correct. Disappointed but not surprised. Yeah. So the boys decided to have some fun and talk about what girl math really is, and the girls responded in kind, and whoo, boy, did they respond. So they have been going. They've been going in on the boys. We're not gonna. You can Google boy math to see just how strong of a clapback the girlies have, but it kind of got me to thinking about the trend, and is there such a thing as introvert math? What are some sort of quirky things that we do that make sense to us 100%, but maybe not so much to non-introverts? So
interesting. I love it. I kind of love where you're going with this. But before we even get into what introvert math could look like, what it is, what we think it is, I actually was having a conversation with my sister over the weekend, while we were in Florida, and I asked her like, what's up with the whole girl math, boy math thing? She's like, are you asking me about a trend? Like you? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I want to know what it is because we're about to record a podcast episode about it. So she filled me in on so many hilarious examples. So I'm really excited to see where we take this episode with talking about introvert math, because girl math had me cackling. One of the examples that she used was with calories. So she said, if the food doesn't touch the plate, the calories don't count. And I'm like, I relate to that so hard. So all weekend long, we're like, oh, if I eat this piece of cake from someone else's plate, it doesn't count, right? So I've been doing all types of girl math all weekend long.
And you see, and it's awesome because it's again, my opinion is it was meant to just be funny. Just these funny kind of quirky things that we say girls, but I think anybody can sort of relate to.
Absolutely. That's why the boys had to jump in on it, because it's fun.
Yeah, but they just weren't. They just weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Thousands of years of patriarchy and misogyny just Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
They just making for a hell of a comeback, and boy, the girls come back. Like,
I love it.
it's like,
Well, we can't just go on and let the extroverted boys and girls have their fun now, can we? We have to jump in on the introvert mouth. We might as well.
yes. So, what are my introvert maths? Or introvert math is not wanting to go, but wanting to be invited.
Oh,
What do you think?
oh, how I relate to that. Um, but I want to hear your take on that first.
Fair enough. So, in general, I like being invited to things, to events, and to places. I think it is a good feeling that someone thought of you enough to say, "Hey, I want to invite Jay out to Six Flags, or I want to invite Jay to this party or this shindig," and it is a really good feeling, and like, I definitely appreciate that. I just don't want to go. 90% of the time. I just because it's not just the going. It's introverts are very in tune with their social batteries and their energy level, and so
Well, we're not always in tune with that. I'm not always in tune with it. I forget that I run out, but I see what you mean.
Okay. This introvert is very in tune with his social battery and his energy level. An introvert should be in tune with their social battery.
Yeah, exactly.
Energy level.
100%.
Right. Speaking of this introvert in particular, I am now doing like all these internal calculations, introvert math, another form of introvert math, trying to figure out, okay, am I going to have enough energy to, I have to plan an outfit. I got to plan to get there. I got to, how many people am I going to have to talk to? How long am I going to have to talk to people? Are there going to be people I don't know? There probably will be. If I stand in the corner, kind of just staying to myself, are people going to think I'm being rude? So now I got to go, make small talk so that people don't think I'm rude.
How do I get out? How do I get out of said small talk if
Exactly.
it's awkward?
What do I got? How much time do I got to stay there before I can just dip? Do I got to say bye to anybody? Is there someone that's kind of like an unofficial door monitor seeing who comes in and out, and they're gonna make a big deal about me leaving early? So just all these things that go into come into play and going around in my head, and I was like, I don't really want all that stress. So again, I appreciate the invite. I just don't want to go. And I do like being invited to places because there is that 1 in 10 chance that I will show up. That's why I like being invited. But just know to my friends out there, if you invite me to something or somewhere, there's a 9 out of 10 chance that I will not go. But just hang on for that one time out of 10, I'll be there. I'll probably leave early with a plate of food to go, but I'll be there.
There you go. So I'm curious, so I hate flaking out. So my biggest issue is I say yes way too fast. So I'm curious if you kind of leave every invitation with a maybe, just so that you don't have to back out later, or do you say yes and then you say yes knowing that you're going to back out, or do you say maybe and kind of just leave a little mystery about you?
So I like to say I've evolved in my flicking out. This has definitely been an evolution, different stages. Yes, I used to say yes immediately, and then try to figure out / panic about some way to back out of
right
without looking like a flaker or someone who's flaking.
Right.
And then I would say yes with all intentions of showing up, And sometimes I show up, but still end up flicking out.
Right.
So now what I do is I actually do. I'll just say, let me think about it, or maybe I'll give a very quick maybe.
Right.
And there's some,
and then immediately change the subject, so they immediately forget that you had the conversation.
I'm not.
I'm kidding.
But no. But I mean, I have done that. But I'll just say maybe. And if someone presses, I may give them a quick primer on introversion. But for the most part, I just say
that's one way to make them regret the act.
Yeah. I'll say maybe, and just say I got to check my schedule or check what I'm doing that day, and I'll just I'll ask when do you need an answer. Sometimes RSVP by a certain time. I think it's fair to give an answer during that timeline. I may want to actually go, but by the day of or the day before, I'm just tired because of something totally unrelated. And now I've given this commitment, or this, I've told somebody I'm going to come, and now I gotta be like, well, I'm not. And it's not an emergency, like, someone's in the hospital. It's just because I don't have energy, and like, not a lot of not introverts understand just how serious that is. They just think,
oh yeah,
you're flaking out, and it's not that at all. So I really, I'm in the strong maybe camp.
Okay.
when I get invites, because to me that's just the safest way to be. Like, I'm not putting myself out there too much. I'm not leading anybody on.
Or there you go.
Yeah, and I don't have to make any high. And that's another thing, when you do cancel, now you got to call somebody.
Oh my God. We're going to just go.
Exactly. I'd rather just show up and dip in 5 minutes just to avoid a phone call.
The freaking mental gymnastics to have to try to get out of something that you said yes to. And when in reality, nobody actually probably cares. Like, if you just say, hey, something came up, as long as you're not always that person, like, the mental gymnastics to try to come up with a reason is like so not worth the hassle.
And I know some of you introverts are talking about, what do you mean phone call? I would just text them. Yeah.
Oh God.
And then they call you, and now you're phone for the next 2 days.
Yeah. And then you literally have to just turn your phone on. Like, it is like the amount of energy that goes into canceling or backing out on a plan. It takes a whole lot less time and energy to just go to the damn thing for an hour, to be honest.
Yes.
And that is often when I find myself in the situation. I'm like, oh, why did I say yes to this? Like, I love this person, but like, I just don't have the energy to go, but I really don't have the energy to back out. And oh my goodness.
But like I said, there is that 1 in 10 chance that I will go. And I do think, as much as I'm not a fan of all those social engagements and social events, I do think it is important that you do show up at least once. Someone did.
You gotta prove that you're alive.
Well, exactly. Proof of life.
I'm still breathing.
Yeah, but also I try very hard not to be an asshole, and I really do appreciate when folks invite me, because again, it shows that even if it's just for that event or that trip or whatever, that they say, hey, I want Jay. I would like Jay to attend. So, like, to me, that means something. And maybe they don't view it that way, but I do. Like, it just I appreciate that. So I definitely do think you should show up at least once or a couple of times, just because they took good time to invite you. Like, they didn't have to do that. They could have just left you out.
They could have just left you out 100%. And so, to any of my friends who's listening right now, this doesn't mean to stop extending me invitations. um, I hope I'm not scaring my friends away from inviting me. Even if if I say yes, um, I'm gonna probably show up. If I say maybe, I'm gonna show up if I end up saying yes. um, my problem is that I just often say yes to way too many things, way too fast, without remembering that I am an introvert who literally runs out of battery if I actually attend all of these things that I say yes to. Um, so I need to kind of take a leaf out of your book, I think, and just remember that, you know, one single weekend is a lot. Um, even two things a month is a lot for me. And so I don't need to fill up every single space, like white calendar space in my calendar, just just because I was invited.
But you actually bring up a very good point. Um, as far as how many events or activities you can stand or tolerate it. I think it's important that each introvert knows their limit.
Right.
For some people, one activity a week is enough. For some, one activity a month is enough. You have to figure that out, and you can or you shouldn't let other people try to influence that. Like, don't
Absolutely.
peer pressure is real. Like, peer pressure is definitely real because people want to see you. They want to they want to hang out with you. And for some reason, people just love and gravitate towards introverts. I don't know. We're cool like that. People love.
We always have such a great conversation. We have so much perspective to offer, so much humor to offer. Of course, they want to hang out with us.
Yeah, and we do. We just can't do it for long. Like, you get 5 good minutes out of me, and then it's like,
right.
Then I'm gone.
Then I gotta go to the bathroom to recharge, whether I'm at work or in a social situation. Like, I gotta recharge.
Exactly. So it's very important to know your limitations and really to try very hard not to succumb to peer pressure, because like your friends, your family mean well, but nobody knows you, nobody understands you like you do. And maybe explain why to the people that it's worth explaining to. But yeah, just you really gotta know your limitations as far as how much social engagement you can take before your social battery and your energy runs out. That's something that I had to learn the hard way many times. I'm still learning. I think I can do a couple of social activities in a week, and my battery is like, sir, what have you forgotten? Like, allow me to remind you. Let me just drain all this energy right now in the middle of your conversation.
Oh my God, I totally had that happen. Right, and I think it also changes like in different seasons. Like, I'm convinced that like when the sun is shining, when the weather's warm, like my battery does not run out nearly as quickly. Just because like my spirits are up. I love summertime. I love being warm. Around certain people, my battery doesn't drain out nearly as quickly. If I've had like a really busy week. So like I know during the fall, I'm really pushing myself because work is always so crazy. So I think also kind of just being aware of like how your body and your energy changes, like when you're in different seasons of your life. I think that's super important.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense, because I think that happened to me. Like in the summertime, this young lady that I'm dating hung out the entire day.
Right.
Went to like the state fair, and came back, watched some TV, and we were cool. This past weekend, her and I
winter is coming.
Yeah,
Sounds like.
for 2 hours we went to the mall, which is again
Oh my God. Well, that was
first,
your first issue.
first issue. Went to the mall. Walked around for a couple of hours. She had to get her stuff. I got some stuff for a little dog. Came home. Both of us took a nap.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, at least you're both introverts, so neither of you has to explain. But yeah, I mean, like in the winter, it's just there's something about wintertime that maybe I have less to say. Maybe my body's just like trying to keep me warm and just doesn't have the energy to make me all perky and fun around other people. I don't know what it is, but um my social interactions during the winter, it's like if I'm gonna get out of hibernation in the winter time, it better be for something really freaking good. um my battery just does not charge nearly as efficiently, and it does not stay charged as efficiently in the winter time.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a thing. Let me ask you this though. Speaking of winter, do you find yourself like getting either sleepier or more sleepy or drained, like as the sun goes down? So like if the sun goes down, like at like
My
5,
battery goes down.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, the sun is setting at 3 p.m. Here I go.
Yep, time to go to bed. Like what is 4:15? What
100%. 100%. I think that like there's definitely a correlation, a correlation between um like my available energy and how high the sun is in the sky. 100%.
I for the longest time I didn't think so, but I've been around and dated folks who, yeah, as soon as sunset comes, they're in the bed.
Well, I'm
'Cause
convinced
it could be
because your body's using that energy for like to keep you warm, to keep you from like falling asleep. I think winter just makes me more tired. So like it's my body's working overtime. So a social interaction is like a bonus that is available to me in the summer. But when I'm in survival mode, it's like my body's like, no, no, we gotta go home like now. And if you don't go home, I'm gonna shut down on you and make you go home.
absolutely.
I'm curious how it's gonna be though for me this winter because I have actually decreased. I'm really not drinking nowadays
Mhm.
because I find that alcohol just makes me even more tired. It makes me oddly really awkward in social situations. I'm like just noticing this now. I'm like more fun and more on when I'm sober. Um, which brings me to another introvert math that we're gonna have to get to in a minute. But I'm curious if I will be able to maintain a higher level of energy in social situations this winter now that I'm really cutting back on alcohol.
Hmm.
So I will be reporting that in a future
Um,
episode.
I'm, I mean, all joke aside, I'm definitely curious to hear that.
I mean,
I
it's a
don't.
depressant, right? So,
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I don't drink, so I can
okay.
I honestly wouldn't know.
All right, fair enough.
I'm
Well,
curious.
I'll have to be the the guinea pig for both of us.
Fair enough. But
I drank a lot last winter, and I'm wondering if maybe I actually drank a lot in all winters. So I'm curious if maybe that will remove the lack of energy that I feel during the winter time by not drinking.
it's possible.
It's possible. You guys will have to tune in to find out.
Yes. Welcome to Team Sober.
Oh, I love it. I'm actually a lot more fun sober. Who would have thought?
I mean, I just look at myself like I'm a fool, and I don't drink, so I can only imagine.
Have you always not drank, or is this like something that came later?
I've never liked the taste of alcohol. I just
Okay.
it just yeah, I just never um liked it. Now, I think the reason that I don't like the taste of alcohol has something to do with the fact that I was scarred as a wee lad when I was about 4 or 5
Okay.
years old. Um, so I'll share this story real quick, and then we can get into your introvert math.
I already forgot that one. Absolutely purposes.
Of course.
But
So,
I do want to hear the story. Yeah, I should have written it down.
this is why I am the note taker.
Yeah, this is why. But like, I swear, I'm a 10-second Tom. It's so bad. If you've ever seen 50 First Dates, you know what I'm referring to.
But so I was hanging out with my father, who he drank. I think, and I believe his drinks of choice were, Budweiser as far as beer, and I believe Smirnoff. I guess the Smirnoff of vodka. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It is okay.
unfortunately, I know that. Well,
No worries, but but he liked to mix drinks, and that's kind of where I get my
okay.
of mixing. Like I'll mix Sprite and whatever. But he would tend to mix, vodka, Smirnoff, and orange juice.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Smirnoff and Budweiser. I'm like, no wonder you hate the taste of alcohol. Jesus.
He probably did. At some point.
That sounds nasty.
Yeah. But he would mix Budweiser and Sprite, which I don't know is any better. So one day, I'm crawling on the floor as 4 or 5 year olds do, and I see can of Sprite on the floor because my dad also had a habit of putting his drinks on the floor where young children could, access them.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I'm, crawling on the floor playing with my toys, and I see can of Sprite, or what I think is Sprite, and I crawl over and take a sip of the Sprite, or what I thought was Sprite. Spoiler alert, it was not only Sprite. It was Sprite and like the devil's water hose. Like it just
Oh god.
like it felt like my mouth was burning, and it's like I couldn't even comprehend the taste. It just
Right.
it tasted like shock and disappointment and pain all in one. And that's
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And I realized years later that's it's because of he poured Budweiser in, and I just from that like that point on, I just was not a fan of alcohol.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, because I obviously had Sprite later in life and realized that okay, that's not how Sprite is supposed to taste.
Right.
But it's not supposed to taste like your mouth is on fire. That's not what.
That's not how most people drink it.
Not how they drink it. That's not. I don't think that's the intended purpose of Coca-Cola's, Sprite line. But yeah, I just was not a fan of alcohol. And again, I've tried at various points in my
right.
life. I've tried.
I've tried to like it, but
yeah, I've tried low, which probably isn't acquired taste, but
right.
Yeah,
it took me a while to like wine, so I hear what you're saying.
It's just not my thing. I don't get down on the taste of alcohol. I don't like for me the aftertaste of alcohol.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I kind of wish I had a story like that. That unfortunately I really had to learn the hard way. I used to have a lot to drink. For years. Like I went to a big rah college. And for years I told myself that alcohol turned me into fun stuff. But then I realized that I was just using that as like a way to fit in. And that was fine for a while. I still liked it. But lately I just this past couple of months, the past year, I'm just like, you know what? I wonder what I'm like without it. And it turns out I feel better the next day. I feel better even while I'm there. And once I was able to get over the initial, like, are people going to think I'm weird if I'm out and about and not having a drink? Once I was able to get over that, I was able to just, actually have fun. And I'm not saying I'm never going to drink again. Like, for me in my social life, that's probably not realistic. But for now, I'm just taking a break and kind of seeing if that really helps.
Well, that's awesome. I do think that's awesome. I'm curious to see how it works out. Once me
too.
We'll check in on a future episode.
Can't promise I'll be like sober stuff forever, but right now, like I had a drink or two on Saturday. Actually, probably more than a drink or two. But that was only because I was not feeling well, and the Dayquil was not doing anything. So I'm like, maybe if I just numb my face. Horrible idea. I would not recommend. I felt so bad.
Zero carbs.
I think it made me sicker. I don't know. Certainly did not make my day more fun. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where sober stuff takes us in terms of energy levels.
Awesome.
Well, that was a total tangent. How did we end up here? Like, what?
I don't know. I think we took a turn somewhere at like me actually coming to an event 1 time out of 10, and I don't know.
Wow, okay. What a detour. Okay. I love it.
Let's actually get into one of your introvert math examples, which I actually like this one.
Okay. Which one?
Asking lots of questions so I don't have to talk about myself.
Okay, so I guess that means that I understood the assignment. I understood the trend.
Yes.
Because remember I was texting you, I was like, I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly. But awesome. I'm glad that made sense. So, in our last episode, the networking one, I said that a great trick to really being a great networker is to ask people about themselves. Lots of open-ended questions, really try to reflect their answers back at them, get to know them. And yes, that is a great networking tool because people do like to talk about themselves. But that is also slightly an introvert trick. So it is like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Great for networking, and it gets the attention off of you. So I love it.
I like it too, and honestly, this is something that I do a lot when I am talking to folks because, yeah, one, I prefer to listen as opposed to talk in conversations, and I just realized that a great way to I don't want to say trick, but have people think that I'm engaged or engaged and actually having a conversation with them is just ask questions and ask follow-up questions. And people really do like to talk about themselves, and not so much from a selfish standpoint, but just folks talk about what they know, and they know themselves. So I let them talk, and they think that we've had this great hour-long conversation, and I probably said 10 words the entire thing.
Yeah.
and I'm like, awesome. It's like, yeah, great comment. It was a great compliment. I'm like, it totally was. Totally was.
I love it. And it's just like, okay, wow. Like, they literally walk away thinking, wow, this person is such a great talker. And it's like, they did all the talking. Great. Everybody wins. That is another reason why I always say introverts are actually better positioned to be great at networking because we are great listeners, because we ask lots of questions so we can not talk about ourselves.
Absolutely. One of the greatest relationships that I've built, like professionally and personally, was with one of my former bosses. He's been a mentor to me, a friend, and obviously just a great boss. But a lot of that was really just him talking.
Right.
I learned, and it wasn't even me trying to like manipulate him or anything like that. It just I realized early on that this man has a lot of experience, and not only that, he has a lot of good stories that he got from his experience, and good business stories and procurement stories, because I was in procurement for the bulk of my career. So I would just ask questions about certain things, and yeah, maybe we would get off on a tangent, but I got him to talking about his stories and things that happened to him growing up, and things
right
early in his career, and I could tell that he appreciated me asking questions, because it shows that one, I'm interested, but also that I'm actually listening to what he says, and
right
asking them decent questions, decent follow-up questions. And him and I came to this day, we're still good friends. And this man is like 31 years older than me, and we're probably like as opposite as you can imagine. Like he was born on the West Coast, I'm born on the East Coast. He's Italian, I'm not Italian. He is
right
the most extroverted person you could probably imagine. I am probably one of the most introverted people you can imagine, but but
opposites attract now.
Yeah, but he and he realized also that I talk when I have something to say. I don't waste words.
Right.
I prefer to listen and I ask questions, and I think I appreciate that he actually took the time to understand that about me, and was kind of comfortable like leading a lot of those discussions, because again he has to talk, so it was easy for him to do it. But he would lead those discussions, and again, we to this day, like him and I keep in touch, and it's really just me.
Oh, I love that.
Asking him questions. Like I don't think there was any talk that we ever had where like I talked the bulk of the time.
That's like a mutually beneficial relationship. I love that. That's awesome. And I feel like sometimes when a lot of extroverts don't really understand, I think, is that like when we're asking questions and we're listening, not only does it take the attention away from us, and like it takes the attention away from talking about ourselves to other people, but it, at least for me, it takes the pressure off of my thoughts. Like, because I spend all day long just thinking about things with myself, and thinking about my situations, and thinking about my life, and talking to myself about everything. And being able to hear somebody else talk is an escape from my insane mind. Like, it is so nice to just not have to hear myself think for like what the length of a conversation. So I don't know how you feel about that.
That makes all the sense in the world. I totally agree.
Why do you even ask?
People talk about having like a stream of consciousness. I think introverts have like an ocean of consciousness. Like,
oh my god, I'm gonna take my journaling practice from stream of conscious journaling to ocean of journaling, ocean of consciousness journaling. Yeah. That is so accurate.
Yes, and it's just like people don't know it because we don't say everything that's on our mind. We just think it, and like,
oh, that how scary would it be?
It's just like, oh my god! If introverts said half this shit that was in our mind, like,
how about 1%?
Yes, 1%. Like this world, man. Listen, y'all not ready for this.
Oh my God. Literally, my mom, I think it was my mom the other day. I was like, do you ever wish that you could just like see what people are thinking? I'm like, I'm grateful every freaking day that they haven't invented anything of the sort. Because if you could see what I was thinking all day, I would be in a loony bin. You would not talk to me if you could see my thoughts. Trust me. It's not even that they're bad. It's just that there's a lot of them, and they are like an avalanche all day long, one after the other.
Oh my God. Yes. Absolutely.
It blows my mind that I can actually participate in any kind of conversation because of what is going through my brain at all times. I'm like lost at sea.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right, and it's good to just be able to, at least for a little while, focus on just
Somebody else.
somebody else. Yes.
Like I have a very vivid mind. I don't know about you, but I'm now picturing myself lost at sea, and um and like now I'm thinking like of other conversations as like somebody in like a rescue boat, like there's somebody else out here. Cool.
Exactly. Like all I gotta do is just hold on to this thing, and you'll pull me into safety. That's all I gotta do. Just hang on.
Although I'm curious, like on the flip side, do you ever get just exhausted by listening to other people talk?
Yes, but
Like I like escape, but like not for long.
yes, but I think it comes back to like the whole like small talk and like pointless conversations. Like
Right.
I'm good for an actual conversation, and again, I always this define a conversation as the exchange of relevant information between parties.
Okay.
That's my definition of a conversation. Not relevant can be whatever, but I don't care about little Timmy's salamander that he got
right
for his birthday. Like I get it that it's important to you, and I'm sure it's important to Timmy's development somehow. I just don't give a damn because it's 5 o'clock and I'm hungry and I've been
just like, am I really gonna starve for little Timmy's salamander that I'm never gonna meet? Like, I don't think so.
Exactly. We just don't have the energy to stay there and like stay focused on just so many or even a few just topics that just aren't going to amount to anything. Like
right.
And right. That's go ahead.
No, like having like an emotional reaction to something like that is like that probably takes up like 10% of my stored battery energy. So like if I'm gonna have an emotional reaction, you better give me something worth having a reaction to.
Correct.
Better be worth 10% of my battery.
Yeah, and the thing is, granted, a lot of us don't. I'll be the first one to tell you, like I'm not a talker. I don't like talking. Again, I get it that we're on a podcast and we're talking, but don't let that fool you. Don't at me. All right. Don't say, well, Jay, you got a whole podcast. What you mean you don't talk? Listen, after this episode, I'm going to my room, and I'm not coming out my room until tomorrow morning.
Right.
Okay. But as much as we don't like to talk, like we actually do crave, in my opinion,
interesting conversations.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting conversations. Like that's the thing. It has to be interesting. And interesting can, that's up to whoever, but just your regular day-to-day activities, that's just not going to cut it.
So I feel like what you're saying is if you're gonna do small talk, it's kind of awkward to like just jump into a conversation with somebody and like just like get right to the point. Like I feel like small talk is like sort of a social courtesy almost. Because like if I come into a conversation and it's like, do you want to hear how horrible my day was without any like prefacing it with like any kind of like like small talk? And he was like, no, I really don't. Um, but like I feel like you can kind of cater your small talk to like the interest of the person that you're talking to.
What do you mean?
Like I feel like, you know, if I see a friend of mine on the elevator on the way up to the office, like, and I know that, like, let's say I know that their interests are music, maybe the small talk that I can make is, oh, I actually went to a show this weekend. Like, what did you do? So, like, I can make it work for what I know they'll be interested in terms of small talk. But like, I'm not going to see that same coworker and be like, hey, like, did you know that like, I went to the beach this weekend? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like you can, you can kind of make the small talk work for like the audience that you're having it with.
I think I see where you're going. And yeah, I agree. But that's the thing. Like, you have to actually try to, make it or make it fit to your audience. And I don't know.
That seems like a lot of work too. Though. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like just make your small talk interesting. How about that?
That, yeah.
Read the room.
Which, incidentally, introverts are actually very good at.
Yeah. Yeah, usually.
Usually.
Usually. Sometimes I'm not so good at it. But I think a good way to like, you know what? How about instead of small talk, here's a better tip that I'm actually talking to myself right now, not the audience, because I'm like coaching myself right now through elevator small talk the next time I'm in the office. Instead of making small talk about something that my audience may or may not care about, I can just ask them an open-ended question. There, I win.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Then they get to choose the topic, and I don't bore everybody to tears and make them wish that they didn't get on the elevator with me. Now, then I have to account for the fact maybe they want to talk about themselves so much that now they follow me to my desk. Then what do I do?
That's a good question.
It's an introvert math. It's a calculus.
I think what you have to do in that case is tell them, listen, I got a meeting that I have to go to. Just like start walking away. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter where you go. Just walk away.
Oh my gosh. Do you ever make appointments with yourself? Or is that just me?
I've made many sent out many teams invite to myself. Like I had
oh my gosh.
No, for an hour.
What was accomplished during the meeting?
Just a whole bunch of recharging. That's all I had to do. Like, oh yeah, I've definitely done that. I've scheduled meetings in reserved conference rooms.
I love that. So do I.
It just be me in there.
I have a meeting with me, myself, and I.
Yeah, like someone I'm poking. Okay, I'm just waiting for them. They're on their way.
Oh, they're here. Oh, I don't see that. Yeah. That's because they're in here in my head.
Yeah, because like sometimes like when you have to recharge, you have to recharge. Like,
absolutely.
And yeah, like just for me, there's just no way around it. So I will absolutely schedule a meeting with myself.
Oh my God, that's great. Like the second it hit 12:05 at work, like put my busy light on. Like, do not disturb for the next hour. What are you doing? Nothing. I have an appointment.
Yeah. Like I had a coworker who would she kind of did the same thing, but she actually would just take a nap.
I love that.
She would reserve a room, because and we do get like 15-minute breaks here and there.
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes she would just take a lunch break and just go in the room, turn the lights off. It's one of those rooms where just like no window,
Right.
there's no door window. It's just a whole room. So she just go in there, turn the lights off, and just knock out.
Oh my God, the way that I wish that I could nap like that during the day on command.
Yeah.
Are you a napper?
Yes, I appreciate a good nap. I have come to appreciate naps a
I
lot.
think it's gonna be my New Year's resolution is to learn how to nap.
Yeah, it's very refreshing. And the thing is, even if you can't actually get to sleep, just just laying somewhere and just not moving, just letting your body rest. Even if you can't actually fall asleep, just staying still and not moving, like that helps.
Ooh,
So
I like that. That's a great tip. I feel like for me, I used to like spend my lunch hours like doing like busy stuff and like something that's really helped me like just recharge and like refresh is like just spending my lunch break in the sun, like just not even listening to music sometimes, just kind of like chilling, not checking stuff off the list. Because I'm able to be so much more productive when I go back inside.
yeah,
So maybe I'll take that to the next level and start napping.
yeah, just try it. And again, just if you can lay down somewhere, that's great. But just lay down somewhere, just take a deep breath and just chill. Just do nothing. Whether or not you fall asleep, don't focus on trying to fall asleep. Just focus on not doing anything. Try to clear your mind or just think about happy thoughts. But I think the main thing is to just rest.
I love that. Wow, we are like reinventing stuff. No alcohol, nap during lunch. Like, who is this girl?
Yes, we're like,
She's gonna be unrecognizable.
I mean, to be fair, these are all like activities that we did when we were like 2 years old. Like we didn't drink alcohol.
Isn't that amazing? Full circle.
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna be such a happier. Maybe I'll have more battery to go out and socialize.
Like Steph, you're so exciting. Nah, I'm just well rested. That's all.
Yeah, or that.
Oh,
More battery to just be with myself. Think my ocean of thought.
oh yeah. Nah,
I can't believe we've been talking about introvert math for 55 minutes.
it's awesome. It's a real thing.
I love it.
It is a real thing.
I feel like we could have probably gone through so many more examples, but then again, we would be here for like 3 hours.
Yeah. And I'm not doing
Yeah, no, I'm
it.
getting hungry. My internal like hunger alarm is like going off. So I guess we should probably wrap it up here and ask you guys, what are your examples of introvert math? Have you ever thought about introvert math? Is this the first time you've thought about it? Be sure to let us know your introvert math examples and yeah, we want to hear all of them.
Yes, so let us know in our Instagram account at the Introverted Pod.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be growing that thing.
Yes, we should be growing this thing. Don't worry, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
And next week, I think the next episode, you're going to tell me how we're going to grow it, right?
Yes, I think I will share, how to, well, maybe not how. I don't want to come across as a teacher, but because again, there are so many better people at creating content than me that I've learned from. So, but yeah,
How about this? How about I just ask you open-ended questions?
there you go. That'll work.
Exactly.
Open-ended questions about content creation as an
I like
introvert. I'm all for it.
This is how we plan our episode, guys. We just talk on the podcast. We don't talk any other time. Just kidding.
No, that's actually accurate. Like, we plan our next episode on the current episode.
All right. Well, guys, I still have yet to learn what I'm supposed to say at the end of this. So do the thing. Like, rate, reviews. Say introverted.
Yes. On behalf of Steph, I am Jay, and we both thank you for hanging out with us for a little while. We look forward to the next episode. And as Steph said, as I always say, stay introverted, and we'll catch you later. Peace.
See ya.